My son, Alex, an 8-year-old with a mischievous smile, secretly slipped a GPS watch into his dad's suitcase, thinking it was just a kid's prank. He had no idea that little joke would open a secret that would tear my family apart. I sat in the living room, the light from my phone casting shadows on my face. The tracking app blinked. A small red dot, sharp and steady, stopped at the Waldorf Astoria Hotel, right in the heart of the city. My heart skipped a beat, like someone had reached into my chest and squeezed. Charles, my husband, was supposed to be in London, attending a corporate conference. So why was that red dot sitting here, in the luxury hotel where we once held our wedding? Why was he there? My finger hovered over the screen, then tapped on Charles's number. I took a deep breath, trying to sound calm, and pressed call. "Honey," I said gently, like it was just another normal night. "Did you get there okay? Where are you now? How's the conference going?" On the other end, a brief pause, just a second, but enough for me to catch the hesitation. Then his voice came through, soft. "Victoria, the time zone difference. The meeting hasn't started yet. You miss me already?" "I miss you and our boy too." I gripped the phone tighter, my fingernails digging into my palm. His words flowed smoothly, but I heard it. A crack. A tiny fracture in the perfect mask he always wore. "Yeah, I miss you too," I replied evenly, and hung up before he could say more. I shoved the thoughts down, mumbled a few things, and ended the call. Then I drove straight to the Waldorf Astoria. I pulled up in front of the hotel, golden lights spilling over marble columns, elegant and cold. My heels clicked on the stone floor as I walked in, each step counting down. In my purse, the black gold VIP card sat cold against my fingers. I'd made that card right after our wedding, a perk that let you check in with a swipe. Later, I'd given it to Charles for when he met with clients. Now I wondered, what exactly had he used it for? The hotel lobby looked just like I remembered, with the faint perfume in the air and soft jazz drifting from hidden speakers. I walked to the front desk, wearing a smile I'd practiced through years of corporate events. The receptionist, a blonde with her hair in a high ponytail, smiled back politely and took the card I handed her. "Hi," I said, voice light but firm. "I'd like to extend the VIP room, but I forgot the room number. Could you check for me?" She nodded, swiped the card. The screen lit up, and for a moment, her eyes hesitated, just a flicker before her smile returned. "Ma'am, it's Honeymoon Suite 777. How many days would you like to extend?" My heart stopped. Honeymoon Suite 777, the room from our wedding night, where we made vows, where Charles looked at me like I was his whole world. I looked at the receptionist, searching for something, anything, but saw only polite coldness. My mind spun. He lied to me. He was here, in that exact room. With who? Why? "Sorry," I said, still sounding calm, even as my hand gripped the purse strap so tight it hurt. "I changed my mind. Could you print me the transaction history for this card instead?" She nodded, fingers flying across the keyboard. The printer whirred, spitting out a long sheet covered in numbers. She handed it to me with the same smile, but her eyes shifted, avoiding mine, like she knew something I hadn't yet seen. I took the paper, feeling its weight, light yet heavy as an accusation. A bad feeling coiled around me, thick like the air before a storm. Charles had brought someone here, used my card, in our room. Was the receptionist silently laughing at me? This betrayed wife, still standing here, pretending to be composed? I felt a chill run through me, clutched the printout tightly, and walked out of the lobby. Back in the car, I sat motionless in the dark. My mind was a tangled mess, like a film reel rewinding every memory. Ever since I married Charles, he had always been gentle with me. 10 years, and we'd never had a real fight. Mornings when he got up early, brewed black coffee with no sugar just for me, smiled and said, "You're everything to me." Evenings when he held me from behind, whispering about the future, about Alex, about the home we were building. Was I overthinking this? Or was he planning a surprise for me? A romantic dinner? An anniversary gift? But the blinking red dot on the GPS app didn't let me lie to myself. I opened the tracking app again. The icon for Alex, my mischievous boy, was slowly moving. Through the windshield, I looked toward the hotel's entrance. Yellow lights spilled out from the doorway, casting a warm glow on rushing figures. And then I saw him, Charles. Tall, confident as ever, in a tailored black suit. Beside him, a woman with long hair down her shoulders, walking naturally as if she belonged there. And in their arms, they carried a little girl, maybe 5 or 6 years old, her curly hair fluttering in the wind. I only needed one glance to know. That was her daughter. Her face was the spitting image of Charles. High nose, deep blue eyes, and a wide grin showing a missing baby tooth. Charles smiled, gently touched the girl's nose, a gesture so familiar it paralyzed me. That nose tap, he used to do that with Alex. Whenever our son cried or played, he'd touch his nose gently and whisper, "Daddy's good boy." Now he was doing it with another child, like it was the most natural thing in the world. Tracy Thompson, the woman beside him, his secretary, who joined the company the same day he did, looped her arm around his, leaning in close and saying something, her laugh light and easy. All three of them laughed, like a perfect little family, under the neon glow of the Waldorf Astoria, a picture I had never been invited into. I sat frozen in the car, chest tight, like an invisible hand was crushing my lungs, hurting so badly I couldn't breathe. My breaths came short and fast, my chest heavy like it was filled with lead. Charles kept playing with the little girl, bending down to whisper something that made her giggle. Tracy glanced toward my car. She must have seen me, her eyes sharp, with a faint mocking smile. Then she wrapped her arm around Charles's waist, pulling him closer. And he wrapped his arms around both of them, holding them like a real family, warm and protective. The diamond ring on her finger caught the light, blinding, defiant. My gaze froze. That was my wedding ring. Back when Charles had just graduated, broke and penniless, I bought it for myself. A 10-carat diamond, custom designed by a jeweler I picked, with a unique spiral pattern I loved. There was only one in the world. And now it sat on Tracy's finger, glittering like a living betrayal. I stared at my wedding ring, on her hand. In that moment, I no longer needed to ask Charles anything. I pulled out my phone, fingers trembling, and snapped a photo, capturing the moment. The three of them quickly got into a taxi parked outside the hotel. The door closed, and the car drove off. I fought back the flames of rage, opened the transaction record on my phone, eyes scanning the cold, emotionless text. The most recent booking, just yesterday, included a special room service, anniversary dinner by candlelight. Anniversary dinner? Yesterday was our 10-year wedding anniversary. He told me he had a conference, said we'd celebrate later. So, he'd had the anniversary dinner at the hotel with Tracy and his secret child. The checkout date matched perfectly with the date he claimed the conference ended. But I had his work calendar. It was always sent to me by his secretary. And then it hit me. My head exploded like a bomb going off. A pair of liars. Together, betraying me. I dragged the long transaction sheet out, kept reading, each booking date, each familiar timestamp like sharp blades stabbing my chest. Our engagement day, the day we registered our marriage, the night before our wedding, the day my water broke, even Alex's birth date. Each and every one of those moments, Tracy Thompson had been there, always at Honeymoon Suite 777. I was shaking uncontrollably, fury crashing down like a tidal wave, swallowing me whole. My breathing ragged, my vision blurred with hot tears. but I wiped them away, refusing to be weak. I picked up the phone, dialed my younger brother, fingers ice cold. Sis? You're calling me? What's going on? His voice was cheerful as always. Help me investigate Charles's secretary, Tracy Thompson. My voice was ice, emotionless. He paused, his tone lowered. Something happened with Charles? Yeah, don't alert them. First, gather evidence. Look into every deal he's handled since joining the company, his personal accounts, all his business travel. His voice immediately turned serious. Got it. Leave it to me. I'll check everything. What about next month's board meeting? Cancel it. I'll talk to Mom and Dad privately. Keep everything quiet. Don't let them catch wind yet. Just as I ended the call, Charles' name lit up on my phone. Darling husband. The words made my throat close, like I'd swallowed something bitter and foul. I answered. My voice came out calm, eerily calm. Victoria, I just finished the first session, about to head into the next one. I can't wait to come home. I miss you. I miss our son. His usual sweet reports. I sneered inside, but stayed silent. He continued, Honey, do you miss me? I'll be home soon, with a gift too, for our 10-year anniversary. Let's celebrate when I get back, okay? Sure, I'll wait for you. When I got home, the house was silent. The light hit the family photos hanging on the wall, Charles, Alex, and me, beaming in Lincoln Park. I walked quickly to the dressing room. My hands trembled as I opened the safe, the dry clicking of the code echoing in the quiet. The velvet box for our wedding ring was still there, small, quiet. I lifted the lid, my breath catching. Inside, it was empty. I put the box back, closed the safe. The phone rang. My brother's name lit up on the screen. Victoria, you were right. Something's definitely going on. His voice dropped, serious. Stay calm. I'm sending you initial info on Tracy Thompson. I'll dig deeper into Charles next. I won't let them get away with this. I opened my laptop, fingers ice cold, as I typed in my password. The encrypted email from my brother popped up. I clicked, and the screen lit up with screenshots from Tracy Thompson's other private account. The first photo made me freeze. A birthday cake from last night, with handwritten icing. To Daddy's little princess Lily, wishing you peace and joy always. Daddy loves you, Lily. The little girl I saw outside the hotel, wearing a pink princess dress, eyes shut, making a wish over a candle shaped like the number 5. Her face full of joy. Tracy's caption, Love knows no boundaries. Every year at this moment, I know I chose right. I found my happiness. I shook. Every year on Alex's birthday, Charles was never there. Always in meetings, away on business, sending gifts Alex never liked. Last year, he even forgot the date. Alex was so upset, he didn't talk to his dad for over a month. But with Lily, Charles was there, smiling, touching her nose like the perfect father. I clicked to the next photo. It was taken the day Alex was born. The photo showed a hospital, not my delivery room. The silhouette of a man stood in the orthopedic emergency ward, holding Tracy's hand tightly. In the middle of the image, her finger was wrapped in gauze. Her caption, I was so silly, just wanted to cook him a meal. Who knew? Thank God he showed up in time. Leaning on his broad shoulder, I felt so safe. It was only a back view, but I knew instantly it was Charles. That day, I was caught between life and death, rushed from natural labor to emergency C-section, in pain so intense I thought I wouldn't make it. Charles said he had an urgent meeting, but he was in the next wing, taking care of Tracy. That night, the two of them used my card to check into Honeymoon Suite 777, celebrating while I lay in a hospital bed, clutching fragile little Alex. Rage exploded like fire in my chest, burning so deep I couldn't bear it. I tried to hold it together, my hand shaking as I clicked to the next photo. The next photo was from the night before my wedding. Honeymoon Suite 777, the room I had carefully prepared, decorated each candle, each rose petal, for my first night as Charles' wife. In the photo, Charles was leaning in to kiss Tracy, his arm tightly wrapped around her waist, inside the very room that my wedding planning team and I had spent over a month designing. Every item, from the white silk bed sheets, the sparkling crystal chandelier, to the vases of lilies I personally picked. Tracy stared directly into the camera, eyes filled with smugness, as if she was mocking me. The future bride, busy finalizing every last wedding detail. The caption read, "Maybe our love isn't accepted, but I still believe true love fears nothing." Back in college, Charles had pursued me for 3 years. Surprise bouquets, late night messages filled with sincerity. In our final year, I was moved and said yes, thinking he was one of a kind. Right after graduation, he got down on one knee and proposed. At the time, he had nothing, and I was the heir to Trenton Enterprises, our family's business with branches all over Chicago. My parents fiercely objected, calling him a gold digger, and in the end, he had to promise to work hard at the family company to prove himself. My parents, seeing his sincerity, reluctantly agreed. Charles insisted we hold a grand wedding at the Waldorf Astoria, saying his relatives were coming from out of state and he'd be embarrassed otherwise. I agreed, thinking it would help him make a good impression with the family. From booking the venue, choosing the fitted silk wedding gown, to ordering the wedding bands, I handled everything. Honeymoon Suite 777, the bridal suite. I personally worked with the planners for over a month, choosing every detail. I thought it would be the perfect start to our marriage. But in that photo, it all became the backdrop to betrayal. Charles and Tracy wrapped in each other, inside the space I had built. My once trembling fingers started to steady. I suddenly felt eerily clear-headed. No more tears, no more pain. My brother sent another email. I opened it. It was Tracy's personal file. The record showed Tracy was Charles's childhood neighbor, from elementary through high school, same class, sitting beside each other through hot summers and freezing winters. Only in college did they attend different schools, but still in the same city, still meeting often. After graduation, Charles started working at my family's company, Trenton Enterprises, in the lowest position. Less than a month in, he asked to refer someone with a decent degree. I thought Tracy was just an acquaintance and agreed out of courtesy. Turns out, he brought his first love into the company, right under my management, so they could continue their relationship in the shadows. Right after the wedding, Charles wanted shares in Trenton Enterprises, but my father refused, saying, "Talk to me again in a few years. Prove yourself first." Charles did work hard. He rose from junior staff to department head, then branch director. Late meetings, long business trips. I used to be proud of him. This year, Alex is almost 8. My father finally said, "Charles has proven himself." It's time he agreed to host the formal announcement and transfer 10% of the company shares to Charles. I called my father to cancel the shareholder meeting next month. I want a divorce from Charles. I don't know how long I sat there, unmoving, the light from the laptop still casting a glow on my face, illuminating the cold lines in my brother's email. The house was dead silent, except for the ticking of the wall clock, steady, mechanical, as if it were counting each broken beat of my heart. Suddenly, Alex's bright laughter rang from downstairs. He had just finished his piano lesson. The sound of feet racing up the stairs, like a little whirlwind, burst into my room. Alex climbed into my lap, his messy hair brushing my cheek. Then he looked up, his big eyes full of concern. "Mom, what's wrong? Were you crying?" I flinched, touched my face, and only then noticed the tear track still cool on my cheek. I quickly wiped it away and forced a smile, trying to act normal. "No, baby. Mommy's just a little tired." But Alex wasn't easily fooled. He frowned, squinted at me like a little detective. "Did Dad make you mad?" "Let me see where he is." Before I could stop him, he snatched the phone from my hand. His tiny fingers moved fast, opening the GPS app quicker than I thought possible for an 8-year-old. "Mom!" Alex looked up, confused. "Why is Dad's watch at the old apartment? Isn't he supposed to be overseas on business?" I took the phone back, eyes locked on the screen. Sure enough, the red dot was blinking at the suburban apartment. the one we bought when we first got married, our very first home. Last year, Charles urged me to move to a new house closer to a better school, said it would be more convenient for Alex. The old place was left vacant. Charles said he'd hired a cleaner to maintain it. I hadn't thought much of it until now. Now I understood. He rushed me to move out, not for Alex, but to make room for Tracy and her child. I stood up suddenly, bolting out the door. Alex sensed something was wrong and ran after me, his little legs hopping to keep up. "Mom, wait for me!" he shouted, jumping into the back seat just as I started the engine. Charles had planned this all along. Every sweet word, every embrace, every time he called me, my dearest Victoria, all lies. For 10 years, he'd been having an affair with Tracy, brought her into my company, and raised their child together. He even took over my apartment, living happily with Tracy and her daughter, as if they were a real family. So what am I? Just a tool for his ambition? A fool for them to lie to and step on? I gripped the steering wheel tightly, trying to steady my breath. Alex was in the back seat, his wide eyes watching me through the rearview mirror. I couldn't lose control. Not now. The car sped through the streets, streetlights flashing past like broken rays of light. When we arrived, it was 8 p.m. The house was lit brightly, golden light glowing through the windows, glaring in the night. Alex and I stood at the door. I pressed my finger to the fingerprint lock, but the screen blinked red. Fingerprint denied. Alex ran up and entered his birthday. Incorrect. I tried my own birthday, still wrong. All our old passwords had been erased. I opened the file my brother sent on Tracy, found her date of birth. My fingers trembled as I typed in the digits. The door unlocked. Charles came rushing out at the sound of the door, wearing a checkered apron, shirt sleeves rolled up, arms still wet. When he saw me, he froze, hands suspended midair, water dripping onto the hardwood floor. His eyes widened, then quickly turned into an awkward smile. "Victoria, what are you doing here?" I said nothing, face cold as ice, walking straight inside. Alex followed closely, his little hand gripping the hem of my shirt. In the living room, on the brown leather sofa I once chose, an older woman sat comfortably like she belonged, Mrs. Martha Thompson, Tracy's mother. The housekeeper Charles had once mentioned. Well done, Charles. Tracy and little Lily were at the dining table, food laid out, steak, mashed potatoes, Caesar salad, the smell filling the air like a cozy family dinner. Tracy saw me, expression calm, not a hint of panic, her eyes passing over me like I was a stranger. She didn't even try to explain. Alex suddenly ran to the table, yanking Lily down from the green Spider-Man chair. His favorite one, the one I had custom made for him. "Who are you? Why are you sitting in my chair?" he shouted, furious. He grabbed the toy in Lily's hands, the one I bought for him last year. "This is mine! You're a thief! I'm calling the police and having you all arrested!" His voice cracked as he yelled, face flushed red, and he kicked Tracy hard in the leg. Lily burst into tears, clinging to Mrs. Thompson, wailing, "Grandma, he's bullying me!" I'm scared. Bravo, Charles, using my money, my home, to support Tracy's whole family. Seeing her daughter cry, Tracy reached out to snatch the toy from my son's hands. I lunged forward, slapped her hand away, then slapped her across the face. The sharp smack echoed in the silent room. Tracy recoiled, clutching her cheek, eyes filled with venom, but still said nothing. Charles finally moved, ran up and grabbed my shoulders, voice gentle. "Victoria, you misunderstood. Thompson's lease expired, and she hasn't found a new place. I thought this house was empty, so I let her and the kids stay a few days. Just temporary." I stared at him. He looked apologetic, but his words were all to defend Tracy. "A few days?" I repeated, my voice like a blade. "How long has she been here, Charles? Since Alex was born? Since the night before our wedding? Or since you brought her into my company?" My son stood there, eyes wide in disbelief. "Dad, Why are you protecting this bad woman? You said you had a meeting. You didn't even come to my birthday, but you were here playing with these awful people. I don't like you anymore." Alex's voice broke into a sob. Charles bent down, brushing it off. "I'll buy you that game console you wanted, okay? Stop causing trouble now, be good." Did Charles really think I was that stupid? I once trusted him with the company, with our family, because I believed in him. He betrayed that trust, and still wants to keep lying? I said nothing, just looked coldly around the house, not bothering to listen to another word. Charles, thinking I could still be swayed, kept pleading. "Victoria, if you're upset, I'll send them away tonight." Tracy, hearing this, had tears welling in her eyes, but stayed silent, just looking pitifully at Charles. He let go of my shoulders and turned to comfort her, but quickly caught himself and grabbed my hand instead. "Victoria, look. Thompson has a kid. She's struggling. She's from my hometown. Let them stay just a few more days, please." I yanked my hand back, tired of the performance. "Get out of my house." "Now," I said. "If I see a single one of you here tomorrow, I'm calling the police and reporting you for trespassing." Charles panicked, his voice trembling. "Victoria, don't be mad." "I promise. I'll send them away tonight." Just then, Lily ran over, hugging Charles's leg, her little voice whimpering. "Daddy, I don't want to leave. I love this big house. It's nicer than anywhere we've ever lived." Charles froze, face pale, caught red-handed in front of everyone. I let out a cold laugh, my eyes sweeping over him, Tracy, and Mrs. Thompson, sitting frozen on the couch. "Charles," I said, my voice sharp as a knife, "I want a divorce." And with that, I took Alex's hand and walked out of that house. Lily's sobs and Charles's voice calling after me echoed behind, but I never looked back. It wasn't until we got home that my son finally looked up and asked in his small, innocent but direct voice, "Mom, did Dad cheat on you?" I froze, my heart clenched tightly, and I looked into Alex's eyes that looked exactly like Charles, except now they were filled with worry instead of joy. With Charles, I had no love left, none at all, like a flame that had been mercilessly extinguished. But with my son, the guilt surged, my tears threatened to fall, so I simply whispered, "If Mommy and Daddy get divorced, would you be sad?" From the back seat, my son gently placed his tiny hand on my shoulder and said, "Mom, I won't be sad. If Dad doesn't love us anymore, then we don't need him either." His words were simple, but they woke me from a trance. "That's right, Charles. If you dared betray the love and trust of me and your son, then I will take back everything I ever gave you." The next morning, as soon as I arrived at the company, I called HR to my office. I ordered them to terminate both Charles and Tracy from the company. Then I contacted the divorce lawyer, forwarded all the evidence of the affair that my brother had collected, along with what I had found, and sent it all to the lawyer. I had just hit send when Charles burst into my office. "Victoria, I've already made Thompson and her daughter leave the house last night. It was my fault. I shouldn't have lied about going on a business trip overseas. I just didn't want you to misunderstand. There's really nothing going on between me and Thompson. She's just my childhood friend. Victoria, the one I've loved most in this life, is you, and only you. Please believe me." So that's how cheap his love was. He could lie with a straight face. I threw the freshly printed photo, the one I took outside the hotel, right in his face. "Charles, stop acting. Just wait for the divorce papers." Seeing the photo, Charles knew he couldn't deny it any longer. He lunged at me, grabbed my hand tightly, and begged in desperation, "Victoria, I made a terrible mistake. I swear I'll never do it again. I'll change, I promise. Can you give me another chance? I'll cut Tracy off completely. If you want her fired from the company, fine. I don't want to lose you, Victoria. I can't let our marriage fall apart." I yanked my hand away, my voice ice cold. "Charles, it's over. You're not worthy of me or the love I gave you." Charles stood there in shock. Then, as if suddenly remembering something, He pleaded again. Alex! Victoria, we still have Alex. Please think of him. Do you really want him to grow up without a family? I'm his father, Victoria. Even if we divorce, I'll still be part of his life. As if cheating wasn't enough, now he was using our son to manipulate me? I shoved him back hard and shouted in rage, How dare you even mention Alex? He doesn't need a cheating father like you. You only make him feel ashamed. Leave Trenton Enterprises immediately. If I see you here tomorrow, I'll have security throw you out. That was my final order. Charles knew he was exposed, with no way out. He staggered like a soulless shell and turned to leave my office. Right at the door, he ran into Tracy, holding a cardboard box. She dropped it and rushed to steady Charles, her face panicked. Charles, are you okay? As soon as he saw her, Charles shoved her away with force, finally losing control. He screamed, This is all your fault! You seduced me! You clung to me, insisted on living in the Trenton house. You ruined me! I was so close to success, so close to getting shares in Trenton Enterprises. And now look, I have nothing! And you still won't let go? Get out! Get out! The sweetness on Tracy's face vanished instantly, replaced by a chilling coldness. Charles, you didn't say that when you took me to that hotel room. Charles snapped, lunged at Tracy, grabbed her arm, and twisted it tightly, dragging her back into my office. You seduced me! You explain it to Victoria. This is all your fault. I had nothing to do with it. I had no desire to watch another second of this pathetic performance. I picked up the phone and called security. Moments later, several guards arrived. Charles and Tracy were grappling violently, impossible to separate. The guards had to forcibly pull them apart and drag them both out of the company. That night, as I sat in my office, the desk lamp lit up the scattered divorce papers on the oak table, and my lawyer's steady voice was explaining the terms on the phone, when suddenly my screen lit up. My brother's name flashed. I signaled the lawyer to pause, answered the call, and my brother's voice came through, urgent and worried. Sis, you're trending on X. Tracy's smearing the company. I immediately opened the X app, my fingers swiping quickly, and sure enough, a headline blazed across the top. Trenton Enterprises brutally fires employee. Beyond inhumane. With thousands of shares, likes, and a comment section exploding like wildfire. I clicked the video. Tracy's sobs echoed at once, her face red and blotchy, hair messy like she'd been in a fight, clothes torn in places, collapsed on the asphalt in front of the company gates, the camera shaking as if the person filming couldn't hold it still. Tracy looked up, eyes glassy with tears, and shouted into the lens, her voice trembling with sorrow. Mrs. Trenton, I know you're the heir of Trenton, the one with power. Ever since I joined the company, you've suspected me, targeted me on purpose. But I was just your husband's childhood friend, nothing more. You kicked me out of the company. I'm just a poor single mom trying to live a decent life with my child. Now I have no home, no job. Please just let me go. The video had been maliciously edited, only showing the part where security escorted her out of the company, with no context, no truth. Just Tracy as the fragile victim, collapsing in the street, weeping dramatically. That short clip threw both me and Trenton Enterprises into the center of a social media storm. Comments poured down like rain, each line stabbing at the company's reputation. The screen overflowed with furious posts. So just because you're rich, you get to do whatever you want? One user typed, with an angry emoji. Capitalists are disgusting, sucking workers dry, another wrote, tagging #BoycottTrenton. Spoiled brat of a billionaire bullying a poor mom, someone added, along with a meme of a rich person mocking the poor. That's how social media works. What you see isn't always the truth, but it spreads like wildfire, destroying everything before you even have a chance to fight back. I gripped the phone tightly, but I wasn't panicking. Only a cold fury was starting to rise. My brother called again, voice more urgent. Sis, should I contact PR to pull the trending thread on X? I cut him off, voice calm as ice. No need. Isn't this the perfect opportunity? Get ready. I want Trenton Enterprises to trend on X again. After hanging up, I arranged for my son to go on a trip with my mother for a while. No distractions behind me now. I was ready to go to war with those two liars. I hired a private investigator, a middle-aged man with a calm, deep voice over the phone, and sent him to the small town in the Midwest where Charles grew up. He investigated thoroughly, digging through school records, interviewing former neighbors, and eventually sent me a thick folder of documents. I organized everything chronologically, piecing together the full story from start to finish. I divided the files into several parts, like a drama series, planning to release them one at a time. While the initial heat from the trending thread was still alive, I dropped part 1, a post on X, about Charles and Tracy's childhood friendship and first love. How in college, Charles was officially dating Tracy, while at the same time writing love letters to pursue me. It exploded. X went wild with retweets, likes, and a frenzy of comments. The person at the center had spoken. Even people who hadn't cared before now followed the story, hooked like it was a Hollywood drama unfolding live. Public opinion turned sharply against Charles and Tracy, with comments raining down. OMG, another twist? So it was drama with the childhood sweetheart, one person wrote, adding a shocked emoji. Classic jerk, wants the best of both worlds. Already had a girlfriend, still chased after Victoria Trenton. Another wrote, tagging hashtag scumbag Charles. Total gold digger, just trying to climb the ladder, someone added. Victoria was betrayed. Poor woman. She must have loved him for real. Why else would she have his child? This guy is literally every cheating villain in Hollywood. And finally, where's the next part? Can't wait. My account and Trenton Enterprises saw followers spike like crazy. Thousands more by the hour, notifications nonstop. Even my brother's account blew up, gaining tens of thousands of followers like a domino effect. Real life had become more dramatic than a TV series, with plot twists that had the audience, readers and watchers alike, glued to their screens, hearts racing, waiting for. What came next? Everyone was eagerly waiting for the next part. Comments flooded under my post, ranging from impatient demands for updates to heartfelt words of support. I opened the official account of Trenton Enterprises and posted a short, sharp announcement. Thank you for your concern. We will release the full truth in parts to clarify everything. Stay tuned for more details. Between each release, I subtly wove in product promotions from Trenton. Brand popularity spiked, and product sales doubled within just a few days. I watched the sales chart on my screen, the numbers climbing steadily. My father, a strict man who rarely gives praise, called from the headquarters. His voice was deep, but he couldn't hide the pride in it. Victoria, you've done well. This time, not only has Trenton Enterprises preserved its reputation, but it's stronger than ever. I'm proud of you. I gripped the phone tighter, warmth spreading quietly in my chest. But I didn't let myself dwell on it for long. This wasn't the end yet. The public buzz lasted for more than a month, and finally, I released the photo and evidence of that couple checking into the hotel and staying in the same room. Once again, the story exploded. Millions of views in just a few hours. The comment section lit up, not only attacking Charles and Tracy, but also expressing deep sympathy for Alex. Poor kid, having such a terrible father, one person wrote, with a crying emoji. Children are the true innocents in all of this, another added. Public opinion swung completely to my side, supporting the way I handled the scumbag husband and his mistress. From beginning to end, I held my boundaries. No public insults, no harsh words, just the truth, and let it speak for itself. I never dragged Lily into the ugly mess between adults. Not once did I mention her in any post, though every time I looked at her photo, I saw Alex's eyes, and my heart ached. I knew I wasn't just exposing a cheating man. I was also protecting the image of the eldest daughter of the Trenton family, the heir to a business empire. And above all, I had a responsibility to Trenton Enterprises, not just a company, but a family legacy, and the trust of thousands of employees and customers. The divorce proceedings dragged on for months, each court session cutting slowly through the years of trust I once had like a dull knife. The cold light of the courtroom fell on Charles's face, now gaunt, with dark circles under his eyes. Nothing like the confident man who once knelt down to beg for my love. The evidence I presented was too clear, too sharp, undeniable. In the end, the court finalized our divorce. The division of assets was simple. Everything under my name had been acquired before marriage, so Charles got nothing. Worse for him, he was ordered to pay child support and compensation, each figure like a slap across the face of his ambition. I brought Alex back to the villa and returned to our normal life. Charles showed up a few times outside the gate, then at the company. But the guards, on my orders, stopped him right at the entrance. I thought it was all over. Until one afternoon, while I was reviewing the company's revenue reports at my desk, my phone rang. The driver's panicked voice burst through the line. "Ms. Trenton, when I came to pick Alex up from school today, the teacher said his father had already taken him." My heart dropped. Charles had kidnapped his own son. He'd gone mad, truly mad. I immediately called the police, then sent people to search everywhere, from Lincoln Park to the outer suburbs. Suddenly, it hit me. The GPS watch. After the time Alex had hidden a tracker in Charles's suitcase, I had bought the newest version and tucked it into his backpack. My hands trembled as I opened the app, and the screen lit up. A blinking red dot deep in the countryside, hours away from the villa. I called my brother. We jumped into the car with the security team, speeding down dusty roads, the sunset staining the horizon red like blood. When we arrived, a run-down house appeared. Cracked walls, dim yellow light flickering through grimy windows. I kicked the door open, the hinges screeching like a scream. Alex was sitting on an old wooden chair, holding a chicken drumstick, chewing happily, completely at ease, as if he were at home. Charles sat beside him, dazed. I rushed over, grabbing Alex in my arms, touching his head, his arms, his face, my voice trembling. "Sweetheart, did they hurt you?" "Tell Mommy." Alex wrapped his arms around my neck, smiling brightly, his small voice steady. "Mom, I wasn't scared. I knew you'd come for me." He pointed to his Spider-Man backpack in the corner, his grin radiant like sunlight, breaking through my darkness. Seeing me, Charles suddenly snapped, lunging forward to grab my hand, shouting incoherently, "Victoria! Victoria!" I was wrong. I was wrong. Please forgive me. For our son's sake, please forgive me. My brother reacted quickly, stepping in front of me and shoving Charles back a few steps. I didn't even glance at him, just held Alex tighter and walked out of that filthy house. Behind me, Charles's crazed voice echoed, "Don't touch me. I'm the CEO of Trenton Enterprises. I'm the CEO." His voice cracked, but I never looked back. The police arrived soon after and handcuffed Charles. The next day, I transferred Alex to an elite private school with tight security. I spoke to his homeroom teacher firmly. Under no circumstances is Charles Kingston allowed near my son. At first, I still had a shred of pity for Charles, thinking he was, after all, Alex's father. But now, I had to end it for good. I went to the police station, walking down the cold hallway. Charles sat in the holding room, slumped against the wall, his hair a mess, his suit crumpled like something pulled from the trash. When he saw me, he didn't yell or struggle. He just gave a bitter smile, eyes full of resentment. "Victoria, did you come to see how miserable I've become?" he asked. My voice was calm and low. "Charles, you used me, deceived me. This ending is exactly what you deserve." He laughed, loud and broken, his eyes turning vicious. "Victoria Trenton, you think you're so smart? Don't get too proud. Tracy just came to visit me. She said she and Lily will wait for me. When I get out, I'll still have a family. I'll start over. I, Charles, will rise again and make you regret this." I smirked faintly, pulled 2 DNA test reports from my purse, and tossed them right in his face. The papers fluttered through the air and landed on the floor in front of him. The first report, Charles and Lily, not biologically related. The second, Chris Kingston, Charles's older brother, and Lily, a biological match. This secret was uncovered by my private investigator during his digging in Charles's small hometown. Tracy had written love letters to Chris back in high school. Charles' eyes widened as he snatched the papers, flipping through them, his hands trembling violently. No, no way! Tracy! Tracy wouldn't lie to me. His voice cracked, his eyes empty, like a man who had just lost everything. Then, like he'd gone mad, he jumped up, tearing the reports to shreds. His screams filled the cell, cursing Tracy. That bitch! She lied to me. She lied to me. But a report can be torn. The truth cannot. It had already carved a wound in him that would never heal. Charles was released a few days later. Because he was Alex's father and hadn't physically harmed anyone, he was only placed under supervision. But soon after, the internet exploded again, with a new scandal. A clickbait post went viral. Chairman of Trenton Enterprises involved in shocking crime. The photo showed Charles, bearded, disheveled, shirt stained dark red, hands cuffed behind his back. Beside him lay a woman's blurred body, but her right hand was clear, a diamond ring glinting under the flash, the very ring I once chose for our wedding day. Comments on X blew up. The Trentons' real-life drama is better than any movie. Didn't see that twist coming? It's like a film spilling straight into reality. I read them silently. No comments, no reposts. I simply closed my laptop and looked out the window at the flickering lights of Chicago. Charles had dug his own grave, and I, finally, had walked out of the storm. Trenton Enterprises once again captured everyone's attention. I didn't waste the opportunity. Every moment was used to elevate Trenton Enterprises, turning it into one of the most powerful corporations in the industry. This campaign, like a perfectly played chess match, earned me an additional 20% of the company's shares. I stood up, stepped out onto the balcony, the wind brushing past me, carrying the early chill of the season, brushing my skin like a whisper of freedom. In the soft, golden sunlight, the city stretched out before me, skyscrapers glinting like dreams finally awakened. I closed my eyes, took a deep breath, feeling my chest lighter than it had in years. No more Charles, no more Tracy, no more lies. Only me, Victoria Trenton. Alex, my son, now bears the Trenton name. Our villa is now a true home, the dining table filled with laughter, the smell of fresh-baked cookies from the kitchen, and evenings where Alex curls up next to me, reading stories under the warm glow of the lamp. Every moment is a piece of healing, stitching back what was once torn. Over a month later, the police contacted me. The officer's voice was calm and respectful on the phone. Ms. Trenton, we've recovered the wedding ring you reported missing. Please come and claim it. I drove over and stepped into a small room with cold gray walls. The officer slid a small box across the table. Inside was the 10-carat diamond ring, its weight heavy in my palm. I lifted it slowly, the light from the window hitting it just right, each facet of the diamond sparkling brilliantly. That light was dazzling. Stare too long, and it could lead you astray. Into a dream that looked magical, but was built on lies. I didn't wear the ring. Instead, I brought it home, placed it into a small wooden box, locked it, and tucked it into the deepest drawer in my bedroom. The sound of the drawer closing felt like closing an old chapter, one that no longer haunted me. I stepped into the backyard, where Alex was watering the newly planted flower beds, water splashing onto his shirt as his laughter rang out, mingling with the bird song of the morning. Peace doesn't come when every storm ends. It comes when you can stand still in the quiet and no longer feel afraid. I had walked through darkness, where lies cut like blades into my heart, but now, every step I took had the rhythm of freedom, and every smile from Alex was a light that healed. I was no longer the Victoria from 10 years ago, the girl dreaming under the sparkle of diamonds. I was Victoria Trenton, the woman who took herself back, piece by piece.